In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, dear brothers and sisters, the citizens, in fact, 5 months since the beginning of this pandemic of COVID-19, this is a good opportunity for us to evaluate what has passed and what is to come, and to consider the consequences of the decisions that we have taken, which in fact are more than 400 decisions and measures that that we developed with you and also implemented in cooperation with you. Since the very beginning of this pandemic, the choices before Jordan were clear. Two main choices. In fact, these were the choices available to the whole world. Either to follow the concept of the immunity of the herd, that is, allow anyone to get the contract the infection, get the illness, allow the pandemic to spread, or another opposite, and the other opposite concept, which is the family in solidarity, the immunity of the herd, in fact, and practically it means the strongest prevails and the law of the jungle, something that is not in line with our religious values or with the long history of the Hashemites and the culture that they have always been embodying in the state of Jordan over the 100 years over the past 100 years, nor does it fit with our traditions and concepts. And this is why we adopted this concept of the family on solidarity. A family in solidarity focuses on the weakest link. They all stand by the weakest. And this has been our approach and the approach of everybody upon dealing with the pandemic of COVID-19. And we thank God, the figures and the statistics that you all know, the indicators are good. The majority of infections have come from out of the country in their majority, but this doesn't mean that the challenge has ceased. We all have seen that there are second waves in the countries around us and in the whole world, and therefore we need to remain vigilant. At the same time, the methodology we approached upon dealing with the health aspect needs to be considered, and we need to ask ourselves, how did we what is the methodology that we used upon dealing with the economic repercussions of COVID-19? You know that the economy of the whole world has shrunk. I think that reflected also in Jordan. The revenues of the government reduced by 550 millions in the first quarter, and we all know the economic repercussions in general. Maybe the biggest economic impact is on the labor market, the workers in our economy. The priority out of the concept of the family in solidarity, the priority was to consider the risk to the labor force. Considering the Jordanian economy, we find that 40% of workers, Jordanian workers, work in the public sector, the government and the armed forces and the other government bodies, and 60% work in the private sector. In the private sector, we have two categories. Half of the 60%, that is 30%, work in the formal, organized private sector. They have subscribed with the social security. The others, however, are in the informal private sector. They don't have any protection, any pension, any benefits for unemployment or what have you, all of these social security benefits. And therefore, and out of the concept and with a view of focusing on the support for the weakest link, His Majesty the King and all of us, and even the Jordanians initiatives who came saying that we are very aware of the hardship of this situation. We want to help those daily wagers, those market owners who have this small grocery and who are about to get poor because of this situation. And they would have had it not been for the collaboration of everybody. This is why the standards of the National Aid Fund have been changed, and we opened the doors for the subscription in the social security fund. The Zakat fund has been also been working very well. We established Himmat Watan fund, so there is a clear methodology and mechanism for people to donate, and so the donations directly goes to the work dealing with the repercussions of COVID-19. In fact, this is the fruit of the collaboration of everybody, the civil society, the private sector, the people in general, and the government. Also, the private sector has received a big shock. The majority of the private sector stopped for a long while and were shut down for a long while, and we focused and reiterated that that workers should not be dismissed, and we need to maintain the employment of workers, because the fact that workers are or the reasons behind the workers feeling loyal to their job and to their career is because of the employer's determination to stand by them. And in fact, this is another important manifestation of solidarity. Therefore, we helped employers to reduce costs, to postpone payments and installments and many of the expenses they have. We provided them with facilities, and at the same time, there are industries that were severely damaged. We said it's okay to have salary deductions, temporary ones, maybe up to 30–50% rather, and that would be a better choice rather than allowing them to be laid off. We know that it is too hard for a person at their 40s or 50s to find a job in the labor market, and this is what we were keen on. Also, the public sector is in fact 40% of the labor force in Jordan. It is a very vital sector for us, and this sector, in terms of job security, I mean, thank God, it is in a better situation when you compare to the private sector, be it formal and of course the informal private sector. However, because of the financial situation we've been at, we found that it is very important to postpone the bonus that were made to the civil servants, not excluding any industry in this public sector. We said that this will be postponed till the beginning of next year. And in fact, this was also out of the solidarity concept and the solidarity spirit. We said we want to focus on the more vulnerable ones. This is why we did this, and we said in the beginning of 2021, this bonus will be restored and will be paid to all, in all sectors. Moreover, when we took other measures, the major impact was on the higher ranks when it comes to reducing the bonuses and reducing the benefits or what have you, be it in the government, state institutions, government-owned companies. The senior staff were the ones who were impacted most. And again, this is out of the concept of solidarity and out of the concept and the spirit where the stronger help the weaker. And we also understand that the financial situation requires that everybody should comply with paying the tax. In fact, paying the tax is not a favor one does to their country. In fact, it is a duty for everybody who makes profit on the Jordanian territories, who use Jordanian skills and who makes profit in the Jordanian economy. This is excellent. It generates job opportunities. Paying the taxes is a duty. And it is the right of the Jordanian society, because this is the this is the revenue that will finance the educational services, the health services, security services, infrastructure, and all of these fundamental basic things. And this is what helped us overcome this pandemic. And therefore, we would like to sincerely appreciate and thank all of the employers who kept their employees despite of the crisis. And we thank all the employers who paid their tax on time, and those whose taxes have been postponed, they are paying them on time. And also we understand that the industries that are severely damaged, and here we'd like to distinguish between the industries who have received a major shock, like the tourism industry, transportation. Now we have started targeting them with our packages and support in order for this sector to revive very soon. Our plan is indeed taking us towards recovery and towards the resilience of our economy. When any country considers opening flight airlines or airlines through a number of countries, you would find that these countries plan on restoring the airlines and flights with Jordan, because we have maintained a very good epidemiological situation. Now that we have talked about this achievement, we need to also stick to our culture and the concept of the one family, the family in solidarity. Having said this, and opposite to this concept and to this attitude, there is the other attitude, the attitude of the law of the jungle, the immunity of the herd, and the strongest prevails, and the concept of bullying the law. And in fact, Jordan is a strong country when we embrace the concept and the attitude of the family in solidarity. We do that because we're strong with our values and with our morals. We do not accept the concept of the strongest prevails. We insist on protecting the more vulnerable, and our choice as a community and as institutions, our choice is clear. This is what a Jordanian does, because this is what we are made of. When His Majesty the King asks questions about any measure that we are going to take, it is always based on human-related motivations. It is because he knows that an elderly woman needs to get her diabetes medication, everything that is related to making life easier for the more vulnerable. So when it comes to the health profile, we have been among the best countries, and this shall be a very promising sector in the future, and we shall continue with our measures and with the measures and with planning for a second wave. We're going to receive our expatriates abiding abroad, but we need to be very vigilant when it comes to quarantine, protection, and the prevention of everybody. The economic profile, indeed, we've seen promising industries that are going to thrive. Some industries have been damaged, and we are aware of that. We are developing packages for their support. However, we will continue to protect the weakest link in the economy, in the labor market, and in the labor market in general. Like we said, we're going to commit to paying the bonuses at the beginning of 2021, the bonuses of the civil servants, as I mentioned earlier. And the third challenge is an external challenge, like you know, these are the Israeli wishes to annex parts of the West Bank. And in this regard, we'd like to say, it is either the path towards peace or the path towards conflict. Annexation is going to take us towards conflict, and we as Jordanians all stand when it comes to this. We pull around the Hashemite leadership and the Jordanians' morals. May God bless you. We shall always be in touch as to all of these matters, because we need to communicate, to listen to one another, to diagnose the situation, and develop our forecasts and our plans for the future. And what's best is yet to come. Thank you very much.